Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 9th of 2022, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Bad Batch, a lot of Star Wars fans have truly been looking forward to exactly what's coming next by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, and even Disney CEO Bob Chapek, and really what's in store for the Star Wars universe that lies ahead. This is Mike ZEROH. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So it's even all the more exciting right now is the fact that we have a lot of things going on between Disney CEO Bob Chapek and the Disney higher-ups and exactly what's really happening with the new Star Wars universe. We already know that everything ranging from, of course, a lot of Star Wars TV shows to Star Wars movies are moving along very well in development that will be announced at Star Wars Celebration. That's also a big deal because Celebration of 2022, I've said this many times before in the past, that it is going to be labeled as the best celebration under Disney's wing, not just because of how many Star Wars projects that they have set for announcements, but they have a lot of other Star Wars announcements related to the Disney canon and the lore, such as books, novels, comics, and video games. That's all going to intertwine and really connect to this brand new universe. Now, on top of all of this, alright, what's even all the more exciting has everything to do with the fact of, you know, everything related between Bob Chapek and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and what they've really been discussing on how to handle the future of the Star Wars universe, how to handle the overall roadmap and the timeline. We're going to be learning about the roadmap extensively at Celebration. That's going to reach all the way up until 2024 at minimum, maybe even 2025 before they take a little bit of a break and reveal more of that roadmap next year as well. So, on top of all of this, alright, what's really intriguing is that with both the Ahsoka Tano series and the Acolyte series going into production soon, it's described that creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have been very busy behind the scenes putting together all of the new Star Wars shows that will be announced at Star Wars Celebration this year. However, Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been making some key changes to the Star Wars universe, one of which has to do with pushing for the cancellation of a major Star Wars TV series for Disney+. Now, this series is described to be the Book of Boba Fett Season 2. As of now, Disney CEO Bob Chapek is pushing the Disney higher-ups to cancel the second season for the Book of Boba Fett Season, of course, 2, that a lot of fans are really not looking forward to all that much. As of now, many Disney higher-ups find themselves in a very strange situation, where some want to move on with the show, and others want to stick around with it and see how it goes for a second season. Now, the initial plan was to make Boba Fett Season 2 essentially The Mandalorian 3.5, taking place in between Mando Season 3 and 4, and that they wanted to jump ahead a couple of years. Both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are also involved in these conversations, and even pitched an idea to Bob Chapek that, of course, perhaps they could just use Boba Fett as a returning character in the Mandalorian series. However, Disney right now wants to make sure that they can focus more so on the big-name projects, like Obi-Wan Kenobi and more Bob Chapek, of course, related material, and how he wants to cancel the Star Wars series because of what happened with Robert Rodriguez and his directing style for the series. Now, one thing I do want to actually, mention here is the fact that we already know that Rodriguez is an executive producer for a lot of the episodes that he worked on with the Book of Boba Fett, including the ones that he directed himself. He had some leeway, he had some creative control over those episodes, and was able to call some of the shots. Now, when you look at everything related to that, obviously he was able to use, of course, his creative input to introduce things like the Cyber Gang, or the scooters that a lot of people did not like. If you look at the season finale of the Book of Boba Fett, there's a lot of things in there. There's a lot of flaws in there that a lot of fans were just rolling their eyes over. And I will say that when you look at the Boba Fett series, it had a great start. It had a great beginning. It's just that toward the middle, before we reached Chapter 5, it kind of fell flat for me, I will be honest. There were a lot of episodes related to Rodriguez, a total of 3, that really just did not work, especially the finale. I think that Bryce Dallas Howard did an amazing job. Obviously, Dave Filoni did a great job. Steph did a good job, in my opinion. You know, I think that overall, Robert's episodes are the ones that really stood out for me as being very much, you know, below expectations and falling very flat. That's the best way I can really describe them. So, moving on from this, alright, given that of course he was an executive producer, Robert had some creative power over the episodes he was directing by contract, which allowed him to use the Cyber Gang and other inspirations from past movies in cinematic history. Bob Chapek in the end was not fond of Robert's take on Boba Fett and how the finale was a letdown to Star Wars fans. But to Disney, this does not make a dent in their efforts to turn things around for the Star Wars fandom. Rodriguez was recently let go from working on The Mandalorian Season 4 for 2023 as a director for this very reason, and now Disney is pushing to canceling the Book of Boba Fett altogether. Disney is said to realize that fans want to focus a bit more on The Mandalorian and the story of Din Djarin after witnessing Chapter 5 that increased fan engagement by more than half. It's something that Chapek is looking into and trying to convince the higher-ups to cancel as fast as possible, to focus on other Star Wars TV shows for the time being. Both Jon and Dave Filoni feel a bit upset over the fan reception of the final episode. However, Rodriguez had lots of creative power over that, of course, episode in particular, where he was actually able to call some of the shots on the series, and Bob Chapek only wants best for the overall fandom. Now, the thing about the season finale, alright, there were a couple of things that really seemed very out of place, and I'm going to mention them right now. Now, when we look at the Book of Boba Fett season finale, alright, there were moments in there that just seemed a little too, you know, extensive or a little too crazy, such as making the Rancor pretty much a vivid inspiration of King Kong climbing the Empire State Building. I'm sure that you guys got that reference. It felt just a little out of place and weird for me, where it felt very much intentional. I don't think that was a coincidence at all. But when you also look at the very ending, alright, it was the way that the Boba Fett series ended so abruptly that just did not feel right. So the ending is where we have both Din and Grogu inside of the N1 Naboo starfighter. And we have Grogu tapping on the glass, asking for him to go into hyperspace, right? And Din Djarin keeps saying no and no and no, and he eventually gives in. They're kind of, you know, playing off of how like a dog would kind of tease the owner, you know, asking for a treat or something like that, right? So they go in the hyperdrive, Grogu screams, you know, he does the, you know, typical Grogu scream, and then just cuts to black. I feel like that the ending was so unexpected like that. I feel that what they should have really done, what they should have crafted something very much surprising that could very well set up something for Season 2 or something for The Mandalorian Season 3, instead of just cutting to black very fast. In fact, if you guys rewatch that again, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, of how it just ends so very strange. Go ahead and rewatch the very ending, the last 5 seconds of the season finale before the credits roll, and it's just the way that Grogu screams, how they jump into hyperspace, cut the black so fast. It just feels very, very odd. And this was all Rodriguez, because he was able to pull a lot of strings with creative input, because he was, of course, executive producer. And that really explains a lot of how the series ended. So, like I say, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.